interesting times. Today's stories. Canada's largest gluten-free expo introduces a new lifestyle. What Floridians think of the Winter Olympics. The New York Times Travel Show 2018 markets dream destinations with enticing cuisines. The world's best squash players go head-to-head at Grand Central. Plus, Iglesia Ni Cristo Mid-Atlantic Young Adults Organization sponsors a wedding expo. Hello everyone, I am Alan Basoyahe, bringing you stories from around the globe. And this is Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. Gluten-free diets have become so popular today, with many choosing to pursue a healthy lifestyle. In Canada, the largest gluten-free expo aims to introduce products to a market hungry for health-conscious alternatives. EBC Vancouver's Archie Rose Natividad with the story.
Canada's largest gluten-free expo, hosted in Vancouver, is a family-friendly, educational, and tasty event. With over 140 exhibitors, as many as over 600 products are made available to sample and shop. Registered dietitians, nutritionists, and chefs are also on hand to share their knowledge on the benefits of a gluten-free lifestyle. Join us on the lookout for some delicious gluten-free treats.
We are the largest gluten-free event in Canada. We get over 10,000 community members that come out here, but it's more of an interactive community. There's 500 different products that they can try. There's show specials and sales they could save on money. They can find product here that hasn't even launched at retail yet because these companies come here to launch those products. It really is a community event that happens to be gluten-free as opposed to a gluten-free event that just gives you samples. There's an energy and people are just happy to be here, so it's family.
According to government statistics, about 2.5 million Canadians are suffering from celiac disease, an autoimmune intolerance to gluten. The Gluten-Free Expo provides consumers with a range of food and beverage options suitable to their health. Once perceived as a fad, gluten-free diets are now part of a health phenomenon where even non-sensitive individuals have adapted the gluten-free lifestyle due to its positive improvements to their well-being. We were able to meet with event founder Margaret Drawn, who tells us why the Gluten-Free Expo is significant to Canadians.
Because it actually impacts 1 in 6 Canadians. There's 55 diseases that are impacted by consumption of gluten. So it impacts so many people, and it's a safe environment for them. We make sure that the products coming in are manufactured in a way that keeps them from getting ill, and it educates the public to make sure they're getting the right information and living healthy.
Gluten-free food has come a long way. With a high demand in the food market, more and more innovative gluten-free options are hitting the mainstream shelves.
So new pasta is a very low-calorie pasta. It is made with the konjac root, which is a fiber-rich vegetable. We use the root vegetable to replace the wheat content of pasta, making a starchless pasta that's fiber-based and therefore gluten-free and low in calories.
So they're cheese puffs. They're my favorite snacks in Brazil, and they're very unique. I couldn't find anything here in Canada, so I had to make them. So basically, the main difference is actually our flour and our ingredients. So our flour, the manioc that we use, it's a specific manioc from Brazil. It's naturally fermented. So your body is already ready to process it, and it's all wholesome for your body and no additives, no preservatives.
Whether you are already a gluten-free food buff or simply just curious, there's a variety of products to check out. Reporting from the Vancouver Convention Center, I'm Archie Rose Natividad, and I am 1 with 25.
Thanks, Archie. Now, if those taste as good as they look, then maybe gluten-free is the way for me. Now that the Winter Olympics are over, let's find out what an average Joe or Jane knows and thinks about these winter sports. EBC's Melissa Potes speaks with some residents of the Sunshine State, and here's what they have to say about this once in 4 years event. Melissa.
Heavy coats, icy windshields, snow, and freezing temperatures. All of these are foreign to native Floridians who spend more than 80% of the year in tropical climates. You would think that baseball or soccer would be the common outdoor sports played in the Sunshine State and even have a great fan base. However, what if winter sports like ice hockey were actually popular to watch in Florida? What if snowboarding and alpine skiing had a large Floridian fan base? With the Winter Olympics underway, we took to the streets of Florida and challenged residents in their knowledge of the Winter Olympics and to find out if there was a real fan base.
Olympics to me is a chance athletically to show off some national pride.
Many countries come to show how they are doing.
The Olympics, pretty sure that's that sports thing that happens every couple years or so.
It's pretty much a worldwide competition, in my view.
Competition of the highest, well, you could say highest quality, I guess.
Well, to me, the Olympics is an opportunity for the world to come together.
The Winter Olympics right now and the regular Olympics every 4 years to Summer Olympics.
Summer Olympics.
Winter and summer.
Well, there's the Winter Olympics and there's summer.
Winter and summer. If I was going to watch anything, I'd watch snowboarding.
I like to see the level of, athletics that take place. I mean, the things that these kids do nowadays is extraordinary.
Figure skating.
You know, with the skis, I love that. When they jump, that's very exciting.
Well, when I'm getting my hair cut is when I watch the Olympics and the curling was on.
Skiing, the snowboarding, ice hockey, obviously. There are the figure skating. There are the races.
Skate races, ice skating races.
Well, is there really any other sport other than curling in the Olympics, the Winter Olympics?
No.
Snowboarding, skiing, and luge, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if that's the right word on that one.
Okay, so what's the one with the little disc and the brush? Come on, everybody loves it. Curling. Curling. There's speed skating, there's snowboarding, regular skiing. I think there's a long distance jump for skiing.
And there you have it. The growing popularity of winter sports, even for native Floridians, has exceeded our expectations. The next Winter Games will be held in Beijing, China in 2022. Coming to you from the Florida Bureau, I'm Melissa Kotas, and I'm always one with 25.
Thanks, Melissa. My favorite sport is drinking hot chocolate, simply because the only white mountain peak I'm interested in is the whipped cream on top of my cocoa. Up next, the New York Times Travel Show 2018 markets dream destinations with enticing cuisines. The world's best squash players go head-to-head at Grand Central. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will return in a moment. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. Every year, families look forward to those few days when they get to unwind, relax, and enjoy quality time with each other as they travel to and explore somewhere near, somewhere far. EBC's Edwin Vergara takes us to the New York Times Travel Show 2018, where vendors entice travelers with cuisines popular in dream destinations.
Are you inspired by taste and travel? Here at the New York Times Travel Show, I'm here to check out what culinary goods are being offered to us avid travelers. Let's go check them out.
Coffee from Indonesia is really interesting. It's one of the first places that coffee was cultivated outside the Middle East and Africa, and it was brought to the islands by way of the Dutch East Trading Company. And so the islands have had a really long history with developing coffee. They have some really interesting native coffee processing methods, and also the terroir of the islands are a little bit different. Coffees from this area tend to be chocolatey, nutty, robust, but I think the average American coffee drinker probably always associates Sumatra with, big, bold, like the tiger on the logo, but there's a lot more to that. There's 17,000 islands, many of which have coffee growing on them. So I think it's encouraging to help promote where the coffee is coming from, and also associating something as basic as Sumatra is in Indonesia is something that we help, tell people and kind of raise awareness for coffees that are coming from this area.
Promoting the Calabria region of Italy today, which is part of the southern part of Italy. The culinary experiences in Italy are vast. Each region has its own cuisine with their own delicacies, and Calabria is one of them you need to experience. He was making risotto, and on the risotto he put licorice as it's a very new, and it's very popular now in Italy. It's very trendy. It's delicious. You should try it. It's a different taste, something we're not used to.
So today I make Okonomiyaki, and we make a Hiroshima style. Okonomiyaki, people say it's like a pizza, Japanese pizza or Japanese pancake. Yeah, it's very casual street food in Japan. There are two big styles. It's from Osaka and Hiroshima. It's like a Chicago pizza and New York pizza. So I was born and grew up Hiroshima. So I think Hiroshima style okonomiyaki is very, very nice.
I'm ready to take a mouth-watering journey around the world. I hope you are too. I'm Edwin Vergara, and I am one with 25.
My favorite vacation spot to date is the island of Maui, where I tasted some delicious Kahlua pork. Thank you, Edwin. Ever heard of the sport squash? According to squashrevolution.com, it's a racket sport played by 2 or 4 players in a 4-walled court with a small, hollow rubber ball. In New York, the world's best squash players go head-to-head at Grand Central in this year's Tournament of Champions. Joanne Blanco Soriano reports.
The Professional Squash Association holds a series of over 200 tournaments around the globe every year, where players compete for the title of world champion. The Tournament of Champions in New York City is one of 8 major stops of the PSA World Series, where the best male and female players earn qualification points for a spot in the finals. Squash is a fast-moving sport that requires speed, skill, and a high level of fitness. It is played in a court surrounded by 4 walls, typically made of plaster or glass. A player can use all 4 walls to play their shots, just as long as the ball makes contact with the front wall during each shot. The ball can reach speeds of up to 170 miles per hour. Today, squash is played by more than 16 million people in 185 countries. The JP Morgan Tournament of Champions has been held in Grand Central Terminal for 21 years. Fans and commuters get a glimpse of the games through the glass walls or on giant TVs in the hall. Battling for the women's title were Egyptians Noor El Sherbini and Noor El Tayeb, who were seeded number 1 and number 8 respectively. These friends and rivals have been competing in world events since childhood. They rallied for 5 games. Noor El Sherbini is a 2-time world champion. After a disappointing start, she came out on top to claim her second Tournament of Champions title. The men's finals match between number 7 seed Egyptian Tarek Momen and number 8 seed German Simone Rosner went to 4 rounds in this fast-paced competition. Rosner made history as the first German to take home a PSA World Series championship. Reporting from Grand Central Station in New York City, this is Joanne Blanco Soriano, and I am 1 with 25.
Just watching them play already gets me a bit dizzy, so I think I'll stick with my cocoa. Thanks, Joanne. When we come back, Iglesia Ni Cristo Mid-Atlantic Young Adults Organization sponsors a wedding expo. Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition will return shortly. This is Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. I am Alan Basoyahe. The Iglesia Ni Cristo in the Mid-Atlantic region of the U.S. holds a free expo aiming to help young adults navigate and prepare for the complicated process of planning a wedding. EBC's Christine Mariano takes us to this stress-free event. Christine.
Finally, saying I do may be exciting for a couple planning to tie the knot. But is it really as simple as uttering these two words? The Church of Christ, or Iglesia Ni Cristo, Christian family organization for single members ages 18 years and above, otherwise called Kadiwa, will break down today what getting married really entails. The planning stage, at least. Come with me to meet some of the vendors for today.
So the national average for a wedding these days, it depends on where you're located and the different factors you have. But the national average is right around $25,000. But what's nice about today is there's a lot of resources available online, like this wedding budget estimator tool that couples can use to help plan their finances for their wedding.
So nowadays, people prefer, I believe, like digital invitations. But what do you think? Do people prefer that or like just the regular paper type of invitation? Like what's trendy nowadays?
So I think people probably go digital more if it's kind of more like a short notice, last minute wedding. But I do think there's still value in the paper invitation. A lot of people still go for it. It's just something tangible. It's a keepsake. It's something to kind of give your guests a feel of what to expect at your wedding. That's why I think invitations are so important still to have for your wedding. There's certain trends that people like. It's usually with the season, like right now, it's a lot of florals. People like the folders. But it really is whatever vibe you're going for at your wedding, usually it's what you should reflect in your invitation.
The couples actually like something that's with a beautiful background. So they like to take you to somewhere that's like related to their relationship, like where they met or where that guy proposed. Or something that's important to the two of them. Maybe famous locations, like in DC, usually it's the monuments, right? Parks are a big deal too. But for me, my favorite shots actually is when the couple is having a fun, like I'm not there. Yeah, those are my favorites.
Usually, the bride should stand out. So beauty makeup, but a little more enhanced than normal. Yes.
How about for the entourage?
For the entourage, they should not be overemphasized. They should be more downplayed so that the bride will stand out. She's the main focus of the day.
As far as honeymoons, it really depends on where they want to do or what type of honeymoon they'd like. There's different kinds like relaxation, adventure, something like going to Europe or Asia. But usually between May and October, it's usually Southeast Asia. Thailand has been a popular destination for 2017, and we think 2018 will be the same. Europe, France, and London are always big popular places. But one thing in our agencies that we're trying to do is Philippines. Philippines is an undiscovered area, and the tourism board has done a lot to promote its inbound tourism. So we hope Philippines will be the next destination for honeymoons.
This is Chester and Erica, a newly engaged couple. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hi.
May I see your ring? Okay, let's like literally show how newly engaged Erica. So when did you guys get engaged?
December 1st.
How did you propose?
So I planned this all out in the cruise ship to be in the front of the cruise ship, like Titanic style, but the front of the ship was closed because it was too windy. So I decided to put it on the highest deck of the ship. So, and then we went up there. I tried to slowly, ease her into it, got her a rose, and we walked up there and I sang her favorite song, which is Perfect by Ed Sheeran.
So you guys are here so that you can make maybe the planning as simple as possible. So far, what is your favorite booth and why?
I think we mostly looked around the travel agency booth just because we don't really know what we want to do for our honeymoon yet. So it's really nice to see all the different destinations that are offering.
Any particular destinations you guys want to go to?
Hawaii.
Awesome. With me is Mark and Ara, another newly engaged couple. Hi, Ara and Mark.
Hello.
And can I see your engagement ring, which is beautiful? So, how is this event helping you guys out? Like so far, what have you guys visited, and what's helpful booth-wise, and why do you think this is a different kind of event?
Yeah, so first of all, it's really helpful for us because all of the booths here are kind of geared towards the church and sponsored by the church, so they already know what kind of the guidelines and what's allowed and what's not. So that's really helpful for us rather than talking to like third-party vendors.
What has been really helpful so far, booth-wise?
Well, actually, what's most helpful was the flower booth, the paper flowers, because we've been looking for something like a backdrop for the longest time, and it's a big coincidence that we met someone here who could help us out with that. Yeah.
As a great addition, an advice panel gave spectators tips on how to make wedding planning easier on each other. Ministers supervising the Mid-Atlantic region, Brother Matthew Capistrano, said planning every single wedding detail is necessary. After all, marriage is a huge blessing from God.
Many times we've heard how married couples reminisce how unforgettably stressful their wedding was. Losing weight and sleep during their planning with unexpected incidents in between may have turned some dream weddings into a nightmare. Today, however, from paperwork to budgeting to invitations to reception down to the littlest of details, the Kadiwa Wedding and Planning Seminar and Showcase makes the exchange of vows as stress-free as possible. Reporting from Washington, D.C., I am Christine Mariano, and I am one with 25.
Thank you, Christine. Very helpful information indeed. That is this week's Eagle News Washington, D.C. Weekend Edition. Join us next week for more fun and exciting stories from our bureaus around the world. Visit our website at Eaglenews.PH, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. Thank you for watching. I am Alan Baso Yahe. I am one with 25.